Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
Offices in Baton Rouge.
104.5 WNXX Jackson, 104.9 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Tuesday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios here in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill. Got Casey Gaines and Taylor Sharp on the ones and twos back there. Jay Hill, how we doing?
I'm doing good, man. Let's get this thing rolling.
Yeah, we're going to be rolling pretty quickly. This will be our normal Monday routine. Obviously, Labor Day shifts things back a day, but this will be our normal Monday routine. We'll be here for a few minutes. In about 10 minutes, we'll toss things to Chris Blair and Gordy Rush. They will get you ready for Ed Orgeron's press conference, which we will also carry live here on the station. On the other side of that, probably in the back end of this hour, maybe at 1 o'clock, we will join you until 2 o'clock reacting to everything Ed Orgeron has to say. So we will start that today as Coach O will take the podium here, via Zoom, in about half an hour. What do you expect to hear from him?
Yeah, I know there's going to be a lot of questions answering kind of what went wrong, a lot of strategy stuff. You know, hindsight's 20/20 now, so he's probably going to get a lot of that stuff.
Here's my thoughts on this press conference. I know that a lot of people are upset, and that is part of what makes this place great. There's a lot of passion and a lot of energy and a lot of attention is paid to this program. When things go south, people want answers. My opinion is that the head coach in a media session doesn't really owe any answers. All I care about is that you take what happened and try to fix it and go win football games. I don't care if you get up here and lie for an hour. I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah. The way O has handled this in the past is he's going to get up there and say, it all starts with me. It comes to me. I got to fix it. We got to be better. Lay it on me. The player's doing great. My coaches are doing great. I'll take it. Fine. That ticks people off, and they want to hear real solutions and real answers. I don't necessarily need that in the public. It doesn't matter what you say. Just go watch the tape, get to your coaches, get to the players, and get it fixed. That's the way I've always handled coaches in the media. And I've been on both sides. I'm certainly a fan. I've been a sports writer who asks questions to get answers to run quotes. Does the story matter? No. Go win games. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, it's a results-based business, and you get what you want when you get the results you want. And that's winning football games. And obviously, we didn't get the result we wanted last week, and people are going to have a lot of questions, and they're going to want them resolved on a Tuesday press conference, and that's just not going to be the case. And I think Coach O's done a good job with that. You don't want to give away game plan stuff. You don't want to say who you're going to be playing and what substitutions you're going to be making. That's all stuff that we want to know right now, but it's just, quite frankly, for a football team, it's just not the best route to go. So I know they're working hard trying to fix these things. Like I said, so much talent still in that locker room. If we get these guys going the right way, I think we can turn this thing around.
You got 3 weeks to do it, and that's something we're going to talk about in the second hour is just what the next couple of weeks can accomplish. He's going to get some softballs today because for just a truly amazing circumstance, he's coaching against his son on Saturday, and that'll be a story that everyone writes, and that'll be, I watched Cody's press conference yesterday over in Lake Charles, and it was a lot of cliches from a coach's kid, which you would expect, and he'll get some of that as well, and that'll be the lighter side of things, but for the most part, there will probably be some tougher questions. You'll hear a lot about the offensive line. You'll hear a lot about the defense. I don't expect to have the answers to how things are going to get fixed. I think he'll just say, we know what we got to figure out, and we're going to go do it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's shown in his past, especially after disappointing losses, and I think that's probably the best route to go right now. You don't want to be giving out the things that they're going to be adjusting and doing and trying to fix and what guys are going to be substituting and giving opportunities to. It's just something you got to go out there on Saturdays and do and really just start executing at a higher level, and I think that's what they're trying to get accomplished. So, yeah, I think Coach Go is going to have a lot of cliches today.
For sure, and the good news is they don't have to prepare for McNeese this week. They could trot the freshmen and sophomores out there and beat them by 35 points. That's just the nature of playing an FCS school. And if last week's an indication, McNeese is not a very good FCS team losing to West Florida. So it's all LSU this week, and they've got every opportunity to go out there and take their time to look at tape and fix it. And you've got coordinators now that have a game under their feet. Didn't go very well, but they've got one under their feet. they got an opportunity to do it. You've been a part of weeks like this. You got to go take care of yourself and get healthy.
Yeah. These weeks like this, they just suck as a football player, as a coach. Everything's bad. The breakfast doesn't taste good anymore. Just the meetings are longer. It's just a terrible taste in the whole organization and the whole building. And the best route to do that is going back out there Saturday and getting a win under your belt. I think that's going to be so important for this football team when you start a season off and you don't accomplish what you wanted to accomplish. Getting that win back on your belt, getting guys making plays and scoring and getting stops and just feeling good about yourself. I think that's going to be a big thing for this football team, and just trying to stack those up. And like you said, to start the season, we're pretty favorable after this UCLA game. So this will be a good run for us to really start getting guys going and start mixing some of these young guys in.
So to set the schedule for the week before we toss things over to Chris and Gordy, Jeremy and I will be back here at 1 o'clock, and we'll run you to 2 o'clock. The rest of the day stays the same. Reminder, Jeremy and I will be with you from 8 to 10 tomorrow night on the Tiger Zone. Looking very much forward to that. Your phone lines will be open. If you want a chance to call into a radio show, you can do that 8 to 10 on Wednesday night. Pre-game for our 7 o'clock kickoff, I will be on at 5 o'clock on the LSU Sports Radio Network, and then 30 minutes after the game for about an hour following LSU and McNeese. So that'll wrap things up from here. We're going to toss things now to, we're going to go till 7? To 10? Oh, all the way to 10. All right, well, we can do that. We got 5 more minutes to chat then. I thought we were going to break at 6 and then going. So okay, what I wanted to get to, and we'll get to in the second hour, but I want to talk about this. Yeah, it sucks to lose the game, and it puts you behind the 8 ball in this sport. It's why my preference in terms of my rooting interest falls on college basketball and falls on college baseball, because a bad week, a bad couple of weeks doesn't derail the entire season. LSU was atrocious on the college baseball field for the entire first 3 weeks of conference play, and showed up, kind of found it late, and won a regional and had a chance to go to Omaha with 1 trip to go win 2 games. Right now, things are real testy in football world because your goals that you've established are flittering at this point. But you've got 3 weeks of practice, a week for McNeese, a week for Central Michigan, and a week before Mississippi State to figure it out. And that's got to be the message that I would think the players would be relaying between themselves. The coaches can talk all they want. The players have to buy it and believe it. That's what I'd be saying.
Yeah, and it's going to go down to the leadership of this football team. I think Max and Kayshawn did a great job not making excuses after the game. They know they need to execute better. They know they need to score more points and really try to take the lead and really dictate the game, and that's something that didn't happen. And I think we got the veteran leadership on both sides of the ball, Andre Anthony and some of the older guys on that defense. They know what they got to do. They know last week was a disappointment, and it's not what they want to keep putting on tape week in and week out. And it starts this week. This is a great opportunity for them to erase that tape from last week and put some good stuff on there.
You can do whatever you want this week. I know most people hate these games. This is something that I'm going to talk about on Friday, but I don't. This is a stress-free week for the team. Go out there, work on some stuff during the week. You can try whatever you want on Saturday. It doesn't matter. The result is already decided. And I can hear an argument that there's nothing to be gained to playing a scrimmage against a team that can't match up and is 60 pounds lighter than you at every position. But my other thing is, okay, well, let's work on some things we can do. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. We can control. We can go out there and do it. There's officials out there. There's people watching. You're on television. Let's go have some fun. That's, to me, a good thing. In the NFL, you don't get that.
No.
You show up the next week, and you better strap it on, or you're going to get run off the field. Else you can do whatever they want this week. And to me, that's liberating in a way.
No, it is. It's very liberating. I think you watch how we started that game with just snapping the ball 1 second left and getting the leg game penalties. This is the perfect week to get that off the offense. And this is a perfect week to get all that pass protection stuff that you were struggling with last week, not having free rushers at the quarterback. You want to get all that solidified this week. It doesn't matter who it's against, but you just want to execute week after week, play after play, and just stack that up, and that becomes habit. And what we have in the habit of doing is making some bonehead plays from time to time. And these are the perfect weeks to get that out of the offense and really get this thing steamrolling. And
if you didn't feel comfortable putting Brian Thomas out there for extended snaps or Jack Best, you didn't feel comfortable with Corey Kiner in pass protection, okay, let's get him out there. Get him out there and see what we can do. You want to roll Mike Jones in there at linebacker, didn't play at all? Get him out there. Let's see what he can do. You can do whatever you want this week. And so that, to me, is the liberating thing. It's the freeing thing, and it may help the team. You're in a terrible spot after week 1, but all you can do is keep playing. They did that towards the end of last year. You got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps this year and and get after it. So in the second hour, for the first 30 minutes, we'll react to what Coach Orgeron has to say. At 1:30, we will have Luke Johnson on. He is driving up to Dallas. Want to get a Saints update. They have been in Dallas for a long time. Jacksonville's now got a hurricane barreling down on it. Are they going to play this week? What are they going to do? A lot up in the air, so we'll get to Luke in the second hour. So now it's time to toss things over to campus. That's where you'll find the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, along with Gordy Rush. They'll lead you up to Coach Ed Orgeron's press luncheon via Zoom. We're back with you on the other side on Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
A new week begins for LSU Fighting Tiger football.
Pressure comes, he unloads and intercepted! Derek Stingley's got it in the end zone!
This is the Coach O press conference.
We look forward to seeing our guys today on Tell the Truth Monday, getting back to playing LSU style of football.
Coming up, Coach O sets the tone for this week. But first, from inside the Capital One studios on the campus of LSU, here is former Tiger Gordy Rush and the voice of your Fighting Tigers, Chris Blair.
Good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome in. It is time for the Coach O press conference, and we welcome you after coming off a Labor Day weekend. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, 12:30, Coach Ed Orgeron will join us. His opening comments as well as taking questions from the media today, coming off a tough loss this past weekend to open the year on the road against UCLA, 38-27. Bruins get the win. Gordy Rush, we can break this game down by many different angles. But a couple of things really stand out, which we'll talk about. But otherwise, a great atmosphere. The Rose Bowl is what it is. The turf is beautiful. The grass is beautiful. Great LSU crowd on the trip out there. UCLA brought their crowd too. Wasn't capacity, wasn't sold out, but it was a great atmosphere. And early on, we had quite a slugfest.
Yeah, and give UCLA credit. Let's start there. UCLA, I thought they were the better football team. I thought they had a better game plan, and they executed. And for LSU, you saw a lot of energy for a quarter and a half. But ultimately, LSU was out physical. UCLA ran the football, stopped the run. You can't run, you can't stop the run. You're in trouble. And some of the errors, some of the problems that LSU had a year ago happened again in this game. Offensive line struggled in pass protection. As I mentioned, could not run the football. On the defensive side of the ball, you saw some energy. I thought they played well for a quarter and a half. But, again, too many breakdowns, too many missed opportunities, not setting the edge, fundamental stuff like that LSU simply did not do. UCLA was a better team.
Yeah, I mean, LSU threw the ball for 379 yards, or 330 yards of their 379 on the day coming through the air. And I think if you told most LSU fans and anybody involved that 49 yards rushing was all you would come away with against any team, much less a team that I think is much improved from a year ago, a team that was very balanced, as you pointed out. They were able to effectively use the passing game, didn't have to go to it much, but they averaged 16 yards per attempt and 28 yards per completion. But then once they got advantage in the game, it came down to that running game and that two-back tandem between Charbonnet and Britton Brown. And give credit to the UCLA offensive line. I mean, those holes, the holes we saw against Hawaii, unfortunately, we saw some of those, especially in the second half this past Saturday.
You get a team like UCLA that's not known for not known for running. They were 3-4 a year ago, and it was a shortened season. They've been 10-21 under Chip Kelly. He's gotten better, and his identity is he wants to spread you to run you. But this is hasn't been an elite running ball club. For them to run for 200, they gained 264 yards. When you net it down after the sacks on DTR, it came down to 210. I mean, against an LSU defense, that's not supposed to happen. I mean, that's a bad performance. Again, you can't stop run. And, you look at DTR, he was just 9 of 16, threw the ball 16 times. Now, granted, he had a lot of big plays in there, 260 yards. He had the big 75-yard touchdown for their first score. But it was UCLA's offensive line and LSU's inability to stop the run that opened up Pandora's box.
Well, you had a chance to talk to Coach O, and obviously after the game, he talked about, those explosive plays, the quick answer. LSU took the early lead 7-0, put a nice 8-play drive together, marched down the field. Butte catches it from 3 yards out. LSU's up 7-0. Kickoff comes, one snap of the football. Oh. They go to Dulcich, the tight end, 75 yards, and we're tied up. And when you looked at the big plays, the runs, I forget the stat that we talked about on the radio broadcast. I think they had 10 runs of 10 yards or more. LSU had 1.
Right.
And it was that big play. And Coach O talked about it after the game. He said, hey, this was a recurring problem last year. Big plays killed us. Unfortunately, that was the same result in week 1 this year.
Yeah, let's talk about the tight end catch. I had a chance to go look at that play last night on film. And it's a great example of you got 2 players that are not playing the scheme. You get the free safety and Burns, who's looking at all the eye candy. And what I mean by that is UCLA runs the motion guy across the football field. They show run to the left, and Burns goes to the left and allows the tight end to get 3 steps on him. And then Harris is a strong safety in that spot. And you're taught in the safety, if you got the under coverage, you need to have your head on a pivot, see if the tight end's coming. If he's coming, you've got to sink behind him. Instead of you didn't find the tight end, didn't sink behind him, and then jumped instead the flat route in front of him, you had this gaping hole. So you get 2 negatives, what we call 2 minuses on that play. 2 minuses open, turns into a 75-yard touchdown. So again, you hate bringing this up, the Mississippi State game a year ago to open the season. You had breakdowns like that. There were too many breakdowns for this team in this football game.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, 12:30, as Coach Ed Orgeron will join us and begin to set the tone, as we say, probably discuss last week and then look ahead to this week. Of course, the Tigers taking on McNeese State. We'll talk about that matchup coming up in just a little bit. That will be a 7 o'clock kick, home opener at Tiger Stadium. The other thing, you mentioned that there were a lot of opportunities for UCLA in the middle of the field, especially in the passing game. And again, they didn't go to the passing game that often, didn't have to complete that many passes. Interestingly enough, on the flip side, for LSU, again, 330 of their 379 through the air, a lot of that stuff underneath, check-up passes or check-down passes for Max Johnson. I can remember one deep ball that tried to stretch the field. That came in the first half, but a lot of the stuff was underneath for LSU as well.
Yeah, and look, I think UCLA did a great job of dictating what the pace of the game, what they wanted to happen to LSU. We knew it was going to be Jake Peetz's first time calling offenses for LSU, but UCLA, similar defense to what Alex Grinch ran at Oklahoma back in 2019 in that Peach Bowl game. A lot of different moving pieces on the front. And LSU went in with the game plan. They were going to audible and make checks, whatever they saw. And they did that. And then UCLA did a great job of stemming or changing the defense. At that point, LSU would check yet again. And to me, it just got into – it was one of those game plans that looked like, in theory, this looked great in the meeting room, and this is what we want to do if they do that. It just took the – I think it kept Max, his head full and protection and all the things. And it was the opposite of what we saw in the last 2 games, where it was get up the line of scrimmage, maybe one check, and LSU was dictating pace, right? And the ball was coming out quicker. The combination of, I didn't think that worked out well, and I thought UCLA did a good job of that. And the offensive line obviously just struggled to pick up the blitzes. UCLA, a lot of different looks, moved a lot of people around, usually brought 6. And they struggled to find out where the blitzers were. It just combined to really was an inconsistent offensive performance. They had a couple hits, but when you look on paper that LSU's got 4 and 5 star wide receivers, 4 and 5 of them, against UCLA, who have kids that have played a while, but these are 2-star, 3-star kids. They shouldn't be able to contain or cover all 5 of these guys. And LSU couldn't execute, couldn't get the ball to the playmakers. For whatever reason, errant throw, drop pass, missed assignment on the offensive line. Too many of those.
One of the things, interestingly enough, Coach O and I talked about it on his radio show last week. I said against Hawaii, it was clear UCLA was bringing the house. I mean, they were just going to come after the football. And I said, do you think that's going to be the MO against LSU, where, again, there's no offense to Hawaii, but there's a few more weapons on the outside to kind of offset that a little bit. He said, no, if you look at this team, it's the same defensive coordinator that has been with Chip Kelly since he arrived in Westwood. He said they're gonna continue to do that. That's what they do. What I thought was a little bit different, and I give UCLA credit, in the second half it appeared they were getting enough pressure by rushing 4 that they were able then to delay and change which side the late blitzing was coming from. And I thought that was advantageous for them in the second half.
And they kept the defensive backs at that point, as they were leading, they kept the ball in front of them and played a little bit of umbrella, played some zone. It wasn't, always man-to-man back there. Look, I think it showed that you had a veteran defensive coordinator against a first-year coordinator. And I think some of it as well, they had a game under their belt. These guys have been placed 3 or 4 years, and you had veteran people running that. LSU, we talked about all fall camp long. They had all these injuries and all the above. Not making excuses here, but that leads to some of that. Well, you hadn't been able to practice with your starters. You're not able to get in there and execute. It just all snowballed.
Let's talk a little bit about some positives, and I guess the one that jumps right off the page and jumped off the screen last Saturday was Kayshon Boutte, as advertised. He finished up 2020 really kind of taking the crown as this is going to be the next great wide receiver at LSU. And for me, he carried that into the first game of the season. He is something to reckon with. And I thought he played a very good game, made some great catches, maybe had a few that I'm not going to lay it all on him, but, there were drops, and there were plenty of drops to be going around. But I thought Boutte played an excellent game.
Look, there's some receivers. Trey Palmer, had 7 catches for 47 yards, and there's some question who the number 2 receiver was going to be. I thought Brian Thomas potentially was going to be that breakout guy. He had 1 catch for 18 yards, but this is a really, we talked about it all camp long. This is an unbelievably talented receiver group. But again, the execution, a couple more completions, a couple more catch balls that weren't dropped, a couple more balls that Max would like to have back. We could be talking about more of a shootout or maybe a different game here, but it goes back to executing consistently in this game. UCLA did it. LSU did not.
Again, Jack Bash, also want to mention him. He looked like he's ready to go.
He's a mismatch. He's a problem. When you put him in there, and the one thing that when he's in the game, they know that more than likely you're going to throw the ball. He's going to have to put some mixers in there. And when Taylor comes in, it's more of a run key. But Besh is a fantastic talent.
Gordy and I will continue. Up next, we'll kind of put that in the rear view and talk about this coming week. And how important it is this week of preparation for LSU, regardless of who they play on Saturday. But they do have to take on the Cowboys of McNeese State. There are some storylines there. We'll talk about that before we hand it off to head coach Ed Orgeron, who will be taking over for his weekly press conference at 12:30. Fans, bring some flavor to your game day with Tabasco hot sauce. Go Tigers and go Tabasco, the official hot sauce of LSU Athletics. Going to try to grab some of that as soon as we're done today for lunch. We'll take a quick break. We will be right back. It's the Coach O press conference this week, presented by McDonald's.
Do you have Medicare and make less than $1,615 per month? Or do you have Medicare and Medicaid? You may be eligible for extra benefits you're not getting now, and you may be able to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan from People's Health. Don't wait. If you enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan from People's Health today, your benefits may begin the first day of next month. Call 1-855-410-7761. That's 1-855-410-7761. People's Health, your Medicare health team.
Your team is on a 3-game winning streak, and you're convinced it's because you've worn your lucky football jersey and haven't taken it off. Not for work, a wedding, or even bathing. With Cox, you can actually wear it all season long because we give you game day coverage and content 24/7. So join us and dress accordingly.
Hey, Tiger fans, just say Fan Zone into your Contour voice remote and enhance your game day experience all week long. Play games, win prizes. Cox, we're LSU fans 24/7.
Hey, Baton Rouge, looking to sell your car?
All Natural CBD has so many amazing benefits. It helps with inflammation, can help if you have trouble sleeping at night, even help with anxiety. And former Tiger great Lewis Coleman has introduced Kentucky's Best Hemp online, kysbesthemp.com. That's kysbesthemp.com. All Natural CBD capsules, oil, cream, salve, and even their super popular gummies. Save 30% with the promo code AFR30. That's AFR30 at kysbesthemp.com.
For the selection only real Tiger fans get at lsushop.net.
Leading you up to this week's Coach O press conference. Here again are Gordy Rush and Chris Blair.
For the first time in 2021, Tigers will be inside legendary Tiger Stadium. 7 o'clock is the kick time. As McNeese State comes over, they'll take on LSU for just the third time between these two schools. Actually, the 2015 game was unable to be played due to weather. So, but again, it'll be McNeese State and LSU. 7 o'clock, just a reminder, this is on SEC Network Plus. That's where you can catch the game. Now, if you're out of market and your cable subscriber or your company, whatever you get your television through, does not have SEC Network on the bill, then you can watch on ESPN Plus. So just keep that in mind. SEC Network Plus, ESPN Plus. You can catch the Tigers and the Cowboys on Saturday night. Gordy, I mentioned earlier, there are storylines built into this game. Obviously, Cody Orgeron, the quarterback for McNeese State. They're coming off a tough loss to West Florida, the Argonauts, in a shootout this past Saturday. West Florida, a Division II team, but just looking at the stat line, this one was back and forth. Not a lot of turnovers. I think one interception. The Argonauts threw it, but it was just up and down the field, up and down the field. That's the storyline for LSU and McNeese is the family. But to me, as I said earlier, also, this is about LSU. I mean, this week, and I got to believe that's what Coach O is going to say. Hey, look, there's a lot of things we can talk about in McNeese State, but right now we're talking about LSU and getting better.
There's no doubt. You can bring Frank Wilson into that conversation as well. Ed Orgeron's longtime friend, and the feel-good story, blah, blah. I mean, that's out the window. This is about LSU getting better and get better quickly and cleaning up a lot of things from that UCLA game. So this is a story game that you wish you'd open the season with. You didn't, and unfortunately this is week 2, but they've got to get some things right.
You hope you get some of the guys back that were unable to play this past week. We'll have to wait and see later in the week if that comes to fruition. But it is an opportunity for those guys who missed some of that fall camp to work within the position group on the field, which Saturday in a lot of cases, as you pointed out, was the first time that they were able to do that. And unfortunately, that's in a game against a pretty good opponent. This week you get a chance to get some of those reps, get some of that familiarity, some of that continuity. And really the next 2 weeks are huge because I don't know that you can make any major news stories with the next 2 games, no matter what the outcome of the game is. But getting better is so important, and getting reps together as a group.
You and I had a chance to watch the scrimmage, the final big scrimmage that was 2 weeks before the season opener. And, Coach Orgeron talked about it. There was 20 to 25 of the 2 deep that were either banged up or just held out. We saw most of the freshman wide receivers. And you don't. That's your last live scrimmage. For whatever reason, they don't play. If they're banged up, I get it. You want them to be healthy for that. But that affects timing. We talk about drops. We talk about the problems Max has, the offensive line, whatever that might be. That affects and the offensive line. They had 2 starters out of that one. Getting everybody healthy and getting them to play and get some reps together. I'll be looking forward to seeing what sort of improvement. It's McNeese, so you're going to see improvement. But are you going to get the timing there? And then the big thing for me, the 2 coordinators, Durante Jones and Jake Peets. This is their second game. What sort of adjustments do they make from the first game? Do they start to maybe find some sort of identity for LSU offensively? You've got too many incredible running backs not to be able to run the football. I mean, I remember it was 4 yards at one point in the second quarter. LSU had 4 rushing yards. You've got to be able to run the football. It's great you can spread it. It's great that you're running Sean Payton, Joe Brady's offense. you got to be able to run the football in this league.
Well, again, they ought to be able to find a way to do so on Saturday against McNeese State, although it's hard to tell because the Argonauts last week didn't even try to run that much. I mean, they were throwing the football, so not sure what the defense is going to look like. But nonetheless, let's now go to Coach Ed Orgeron, standing by for the Coach O press conference.
Guys, good to see everybody. After a review of the film, first of all, our guys played hard. I thought they prepared very well. After looking at the tape, number one, as coaches, we need to put them in a better position to have success. And number two is when they're in the position to have success, they have to execute. Overall, though, I thought our players had a lot of want-to. There was a lot of mistakes made, and most of the mistakes can be fixed by coaching, getting them better. I take the responsibility of myself. We've moved on. We've watched the tape yesterday. We dealt with it, the 24-hour rule. Now on to McNeese. A little bit about McNeese. Obviously, they're coached by Frank Wilson, who I believe is one of the greatest assistant coaches that ever came to LSU. He's a great recruiter. I worked with Frank. He's a great coach. I'm glad he's coaching my son. I'm glad we play in McNeese. I love playing in-state schools. I think that is good for the state, and we're glad that McNeese is coming to LSU. A little bit about McNeese. Obviously, we're playing spread offense. My son Cody's the quarterback. Josh Matthews, he and Josh have had a good career so far together. They are good players. Now, defense, Isaiah Chambers, All-American, outstanding rusher. I think he's a transfer from Houston. They play a 4-2-5 and a spread on offense. Out for this game is Sonny, John Trey, Austin Deckles, Ali Gay, and Cam Wire. All right, any questions? Oh, yeah, well, last thing, I'd like to thank all of our fans that showed up in Los Angeles. It was a great venue. I want to thank all those guys that came there, came to Los Angeles. Our team, myself, we really appreciate it. We look forward to playing in Tiger Stadium. Look forward to Tiger Walk being full. We look forward to Tiger Stadium being full and get back on a winning track. Any questions?
Hey, Ed, I have two. I'll start with the second one that just popped because the offensive line. How do you manage that position with those two guys being out?
Yeah, guys are going to have to step up. Charles is going to have to step up. Anthony Bradford will step up. Chason Hines a little bit beat up. He's going to have to step up. We're going to have to play some young guys. We're going to mix and match and see what's the best thing for our team.
In pregame, I saw you were pretty animated with DJ and Jake. Did you, as a defensive coach, did you sense maybe some of those issues before the game?
As far as what, Mike? Dominic?
Being easily defendable, like just the stuff that you guys are going to be running. Did you feel like we need to be more diverse?
Oh no, there's no question. They did a good job. They knew what we were doing. They out-schemed us in a lot of situations on offense and defense. We spent a lot of time on Sunday going through those things, and we got to eliminate those things. There's a lot of things we could have eliminated as coaches, and we didn't do it.
Hey, Coach, a lot of the offensive linemen, obviously you recruited, other big schools wanted them too. Has it been frustrating that you haven't been able to build your too deep and some of those younger guys just haven't been able to get on the field?
Yes, it has. And, look, man, we won a lot of games with Austin Deckles and Ed Ingram. Those guys, we won a championship with those guys. Those guys started as freshmen in the swamp. So, those guys are good football players, and I believe in them. It's a shame that we lost our left tackle right before the season. I think that hurt us a little bit, and Liam's back, but we got to have more continuity. They just got a new offensive line coach. I'm not making an excuse for them, but it's different for the guys. It's going to take time for them to gel. I believe in Brad. I believe in this offensive line. Some of these young guys are going to have to step up.
Hey, you did find a few runs on that opening drive to start the second half before the turnover, right? Did you find you were
Yeah, we felt like we had to come out and run the football. We felt a couple of cracks in their defense. I thought our guys made a couple of adjustments at halftime that worked, but still, it was nowhere the variety of runs. It was nowhere the style of runs in which we need to run at LSU. And we had a meeting on that, and that's going to get fixed.
Hey, Coach, given the circumstances of how the last weekend went, the immediate move, and then going all the way to Cali for the game, how much do you think the impact of the past week affected the gameplay itself?
Yeah, I would like to think 0. No, I don't know if it did or not. And because we were lucky, like I said, administration let us go to Houston. We were kind of in a little cocoon there. But I do believe, maybe the guys were a little bit affected about their families, and that's a natural thing. But I felt like we had good practices. I felt like we traveled well. I felt like we were ready to play the game. I didn't see many distractions during the week besides us having to move and their families being in harm's way.
Coach, switching gears a little bit to McNeese, we got to talk to Cody yesterday, and he said that you were watching the West Florida film and kind of were able to talk to him a little bit about that. What was that conversation like?
Well, it's kind of like it was the first time I got to watch it, and I want to evaluate our opponent, but I also want to cheer for my son. So it was a little bit different. But you know what? I thought he made some good throws. They moved him out. They spread him out. I thought Josh made some good catches. I thought that they had a good game plan. It looked like they played well. A little bit more in sync. Is the second year under the same offense. So I thought the timing was okay. It was pretty good. I thought he scrambled pretty good. I thought the offensive line blocked better.
Hey, Ed, Wilson, the Advocate. You mentioned that when they got the Hurricanes. I mean, these two teams, McNeese and LSU, probably understand what it's like to go through a hurricane as well as anyone, and you know it being from La Rose.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Just seeing your hometown be affected by that, and seeing so many people in a state that you know so well be affected by these things.
Yeah, I wanted to use an internal motivation. I wanted to win for them as bad as anybody, and I'm more disappointed in the loss than a lot. And but you know what? You got when you start playing for that and stuff like that, it kind of gets out of why you're playing the game. You got to play the game to win and focus on the fundamentals. And I wanted to win just as bad as anybody else for the people in the Rose and the people in Louisiana. It just didn't happen. But, hey, it's the beginning of the year. I do believe we have a great team. I do believe we have a great season. And it starts this week with McNeese.
Hey, Coach, this is Glenn West with LSU Country. I think this morning in your interview, you're saying one of the things that was, I guess, disappointing with the defense was kind of the crossing routes, the issues you guys have had with the crossing routes. I'm just curious as to how you can improve on that in a week's time, and just kind of who are some of the players you're hoping will step up?
Well, we went back and we looked at why we're not covering them. We had an extensive meeting on that. We came up with some drills to help our guys cover the certain crossing routes that we've seen. We had seen some different stuff that they hadn't seen. We saw some different stuff that we hadn't showed them in practice. So that's coaching. And so I think we fixed that. We made a couple of adjustments, a couple of calls that when they get in a couple of formations that we can take the heat off of the crossing routes. So I know we made some adjustments this week. I saw live action the first time with our defensive coordinator, so he's got to learn our players got to learn our defensive coordinator, and we got to make a big jump this week.
Coach Mike Scarborough with TigerBait.com. How lengthy is the list of things that you have to get fixed in a hurry, and what are going to be the few easiest things that you're going to be able to fix the quickest?
Yeah, I think that when you look at the film, the thing I was most pleased with the effort and the want-to of the players. There was no question about that. It's been like that. It's been like that every day of practice. So the leadership, the continuity of the team, everything else can be fixed. But that right there, to me, is the most important, and they've got it. Great leadership, a great team unity. Now, it's fundamentals. It comes down to stance, alignment, assignment, simplifying stuff. Make sure, let's see example for offense. We have to protect the quarterback better. Whatever that takes to protect the quarterback, we cannot let our quarterback get hit. And we got to have short, easy throws and put the ball in our playmakers' hands in space and let them make plays. So that, and have a more variety in our run game. So we got to get that going. On defense, we got to be able to stop the run. Whatever that takes, whatever we got, gap football, whatever it takes to stop the run, we got to do that and eliminate the explosive plays. We had 11 explosive plays, and that's way too many.
Yeah, just to kind of follow up on the offensive line. I mean, is there a clear thing that's pinpointable that needs to be fixed, or is it more just about continuity and guys needing time together?
I think there's some. We need to help them out in the variety of runs that we run. I think if you only run one or two runs, people are going to key in. Or they know what you're running. They're going to overload the box, and they practice those runs, and here they are. And, they get coached too. I think that the more we can get the ball outside with our players, the more we can have gap schemes, the more we can help our offensive linemen out, the better we're going to be. I think it starts with us as coaches. We got to help them out.
Coach, two questions. Did you mention John Emery earlier? What's his status with the
Yeah,
team?
it's unknown right now. I will not know until the end of the week. Right now he's unavailable. That could change. I will not know that till Friday.
And it looked like you were kind of kidding when you were talking to the guy before the game as you walked in. Were you just kind of kidding around, or did he make you at with what he said about the previous UCLA game you had?
No, that was all in fun. All that wasn't fun.
Gotcha.
Hey, Ed, Sheldon Mickles at The Advocate. I know it'd be more fun if you had won this past week, but how special and unique is it to go against your son? And also, second, you have the book. He was joking yesterday. It's going to be a 3-on-1 Orgeron advantage for you guys. You got the book on him, but does he have the book on you? And what does he bring?
Yeah, first of all, the game's about LSU winning. We had to win the game. It's about LSU McNeese. And but personally, I'm proud of Cody. You think about Cody, he walked on at McNeese. He was the 6th-string quarterback and standing in line. And now he's one of the few players left in that class. And he earned a scholarship. He's graduated. He's going to get his graduate degree. So we're proud of him, And Cody was always been a late bloomer. He was a tennis player. His brother was a star football player, but he caught up his senior year. He brought his team to the semis. But you know what? Playing against Cody is going to be pretty cool. I know he's going to be talking some smack. I know he'll come to the sideline and talk a little smack. He knows all our players. He's excited to play in Death Valley. For a guy, a quarterback from McNeese to come to LSU and play in Death Valley, he's really excited about that. But once the game starts, it's going to be competition. I'm the head coach at LSU, and he's the quarterback at McNeese. We both got to do what we can to win the game. Thank you. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah, Ron Higgins, Tiger, right? You talked about having more diversity in the run game and different formations and different plays. Did you not know that was not in the game plan for this opener? And secondly, couldn't that be adjusted during the game?
Yeah, around we last spring we went through our core runs, and we put up 5 basic core runs that we want to run. Now, obviously, there was going to be some other runs that you sprinkle in the game plan and stuff. Now, those 5 core runs are going to be run through different formations, motions, and shifts. I think the game plan got dwindled down a little bit because of the blitzes, because of the stunts that they were doing, and we felt sometimes that we may be running into them. I have to check out of them. So I think it's a combination of what they were doing and a combination of us just doing a little bit better.
Coach, this is Josh Sibley with Louisiana Gridiron Football. You had spoken previously about limiting the RPO with Max, and I know you wanted to limit the possibility of injury, but do you plan on allowing Max to use his legs and run the ball a little bit more?
Yeah.
And also to follow up, do you think it limited Max last week too much to not have that ability?
First of all, we never told him not to run. Okay, and he could have run anytime he wanted to if he needed to scramble. We need to run a couple of more zone read options with him. We ran some, and there were some situations that I think he could have pulled it, and he could have outran the guy. So I think it's a combination of both, but no way did we mean to limit Max's mobility and him extend plays with his feet. Anytime he felt the need to scramble or run, he has the freedom to do that. Nobody told him not to run. But we're not going to run quarterback powers with him, quarterback leads, and just have a quarterback run offense. We're not going to do that.
Hey, Coach, it's Brett Martell here with AP. How are you?
Good.
So I'm just curious about just the psychology of a dad when you think about all the ways and the language you've used to implore defensive linemen. I know that's your specialty, to get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
You're probably pretty passionate in the way you've tried to convey that at
Yeah.
times. When the guy you're telling him to basically pile on top of this, I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, is it challenging?
Yeah, it is challenging, but I'm a coach the way I know how to coach. And I may tone down a couple of words I use because it is my son. But besides that, Cody knows we're coming, man. Hey, we're hungry. We have this taste in our belly, and we're coming, and McNeese is on our way. He understands that.
Yeah, Ron Higgins again.
Can you say, I'm not naming names, but how many players were suspended for this game?
I just told you the guys that are unavailable, and that's unavailable.
I mean, and when you look at suspensions, do you kind of space them out for non-conference games most of the time? That's what you try to do?
Yeah, we can't do that. Yep. We can't do that. Yep.
Okay.
Good question.
Hey, Coach, this is Shea Dixon with 24/7. Is coming off a game like that and going into a game like Nice, is this a time where, as a coach, you kind of want to get some other guys out there in spots and see what they look like, or is it more about let's keep moving forward with the guys we have and try to clean things up from there?
Yeah, it's moving forward. The guys we have, let's play. We got to play. We got to play better. And obviously, you never can tell. McNeese is going to come in here and give us a game. Look, hey, the 2019 team, I think, Northwestern had us at halftime or something like that. These guys are going to come play their best game. There is no planning on pulling back or nothing like that. We got to get better with our football team. So, however the game goes, now if we can put guys in at the end or whatever, we can put them in. But we got to play our best to beat McNeese. We got to play our best to get this taste out of them out and start feeling good.
Sorry. I was going to say with one more, just what did you think of Besh and Brian Thomas? I know they didn't get a ton of looks, but did you see enough to think those are guys that are going to help you out this year?
Excellent. Excellent. They've been excellent in camp, all our young receivers. And Besh made some good plays, made some good catches. Brian Thomas looked like he belonged out there. We need to play him more.
And just two injury things. Jay Ward, Jared Small, what's their status? I think Fox reported that Jared is out for the year.
Jared will be out for the year. No question about that. I'm not sure about Jay Ward yet. We're going to see it then. He's questionable. I would list him doubtful for this week. We'll see. But I'll know more about Friday.
Coach, how wild is it that Bobby Hebert, the quarterback, had the lineman's son, and you, the lineman, had the quarterback?
That's a good question, Glenn. I can't figure that out. But I never thought of it that way. That's funny.
Coach, to your knowledge, in not even just in college football, in pro as well, has there ever been a coach coaching against his son, and not just like, an offensive-minded coach, but you're a defensive-minded coach, and you're going against your game plan for your son?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not a history buff. I haven't checked it, but I think that John Elway went against his daddy one time, and obviously that was on a big stage. And no, I don't know of any instance that has happened. I'm looking forward to it. Bobby April is a mentor of mine. He said, "Man, enjoy this. This is a special moment," and it is. And for me to be the head coach at LSU and for Cody to be the quarterback at McNeese and us to play together, he called me today. He said, "Hey, Dad, I only get 4 more tickets. Can you help me with tickets?"
Hey, Coach, watching the tape, when Max got the ball out on time, y'all had some success.
Yeah.
Did you see some positive there
that
you can build on?
Oh, yeah. You look at we came out there smoking, man. It looked like offense. We were going, and all of a sudden, we started getting pressure on the quarterback. He missed several balls. As you know, you all saw number 33 was wide open. We missed that ball. Some balls were low. He was really good at times. Times he's got to get better. But again, it's his first start, but his first time. He's the man. He's the quarterback, and we're gonna give him time to get better. But he needs to improve.
Did you see some jitters that maybe we didn't see last year?
Yeah, a little bit of hesitation, but look, those guys were in the face. They were loading it up. There was zero blitz, and he was getting hit, and he was tough. He hung in there. I said, get Garrett ready, and he didn't come out. And, he got hit way too much.
Coach, did anything shock or surprise you about the game? Something in camp that you thought was strong here, and then it didn't play out that way?
I felt that we were going to play really well. I felt that we could match them up, obviously. I thought that the game was going to be tight. I knew that because when I watched them play against Hawaii, I knew that was a lot better football team. You could tell. I do believe that the will to fight and everything was there. I just wish we'd have coached them better. I got to put that on me. I think offensively and defensively, we could have did some things better in camp, prepare our guys to play a better football game That's the thing I'm most disappointed in, the preparation that we had as coaches going into the game.
And you mentioned Max real quick. Is there something to be said? He didn't play against crowds last year. Some of these guys are getting crowds for the first time, opposing crowds.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Jacques. But knowing him, man, that crowd probably fired him up. But, hey, you know what? We'll see. He's got to get better this week. He knows some things to improve. And hopefully I can get Garrett in this week. I plan on playing Garrett. Let him play and get some snaps, and let's see what he can do.
Hey, just one more on Cody. I know in the NFL, sometimes when brothers play against each other, they have to cut it off during the week. When are you cutting it off with Cody with the phone calls?
Never. That's my son. Never.
All week long?
That ain't.
Okay, all week?
That's my son. I text him 3 or 4 times a day. We call 3 or 5. Me and Cody are best friends, so that ain't never going to stop.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hey, Coach. This is William with Tiger. I got 2 parts. I want to ask you in relation to solving some of the crossing route issues. Is it more of a playing more zone? Is it personnel? You've got to get better. Get different personnel on the field.
Well, as far as the crossing routes, I do believe is zone. Sometimes we have some match zone principles that we have to look at, see if our guys can trust their keys and get it. They were showing some different keys that were putting them in a confusing situation that was allowing those crossing routes. And we looked at it, and we looked at the terminology and what we're doing. So we fixed a couple of things this week. We made some adjustments if they get that look again, and hopefully that we can cover them.
And second of all, just any consideration that you might want to get Nussmeier a series or so, and maybe Corey Kiner a series, that kind of thing?
Yeah, no question. I want those guys to play. Kevin wanted to put in Corey last week, but it just wasn't an opportune time. The kid deserved a chance, but we just couldn't afford him going in there with the game like it was. Those guys I plan on playing this week for sure.
Hey, Brett wanted me to ask you if you'd ever had a opposing quarterback ask for extra tickets.
No, I never had no way.
That is fun. I had a question, and it goes back to the coaching. And I just wonder how much of this can you really only fix in hindsight? And, at the beginning of the year, you said you wanted to be more involved and you were going to fix the things when you saw them go wrong.
Yep.
Obviously, you have your opportunity now.
Yeah.
Is it one of the things where, man, obviously if you'd known you'd done it sooner, but you really couldn't know until you saw what your team was?
Exactly right. You're exactly right. And look, they gave us some challenging stuff, tackle over stuff, end over stuff. Almost every down was a slide in the front, adjust the back end, and they were going fast. So it was a challenging offense. We knew that going into it. I wish I'd have prepared the team better. Now that I knew what he was doing, I think I could have showed the team more of that. So that falls on me. But all the things that we saw on tape, we spent 8 hours on the tape on Sunday, are all fixable. Everyone can be fixed.
Coach Scooter Hobbs in Lake Charles, you were at every McNeese game last spring. What difference did you notice from watching the tape of their opener? And also, how much time has Cody spent around LSU's practices and stuff?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I do believe that they were more in sync. I thought on offense, I studied the offense more, obviously, because I'm a defensive coach, and I thought they got rid of the ball quick. They moved Cody around. They sprint him out. They had some boots, which is his strength. I thought they caught the ball well. I thought they had a good plan. Cody comes around here all the time. Our players love him. He's at our practices. He comes to our practice. Frank Wilson, their staff came to our practices. Cody comes throw the football on the field here. So he's a member of my family, just like anybody else. He's around.
Hey, Coach, this is Josh Sibley again. What is the status of Coy Moore? He seemed to have success on big third down in the first half, and kind of seemed to disappear in the second.
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to disappear. We need to find him, and he's good. He's okay. Yeah, he had a nagging injury throughout the summer, but is fully healthy now. he's in good shape, and there's nothing wrong with him. So, yes, we do need to get the ball to him. We need to get the ball to Keyshawn Butte earlier. I thought he had a fantastic night with 9 catches, whatever it is. The guy's a dynamite player, but we need to find him early. Thank you, guys. Go Tigers.
Head coach Ed Orgeron with this week's Coach O press conference presented by McDonald's. You heard from the coach there as the Tigers get ready to take on McNeese State coming up this Saturday. Again, kickoff at 7 o'clock. We'll be back after this quick break. Wrap it up on the LSU Sports Radio Network.
Support your LSU Tigers with Hancock Whitney, the official bank of LSU Athletics. From game day to the offseason, Hancock Whitney LSU credit and debit cards are a big win for any Tiger fan. Want to get your paws on these cards? Well, apply online or visit HancockWhitney.com/LSU. Hancock Whitney Bank, member FDIC. All accounts subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions may apply.
Our Lady of the Lake, just like LSU, is anchored by deep roots put down almost a century ago. We share a singular vision to advance health, education, and research to serve the incredible people of Louisiana. Our partnership with LSU is inspired by our passions for knowledge and our commitments to our community and healthy Louisiana families. Together, there's nowhere we can't go. Our Lady of the Lake is proud to be the healthcare provider of LSU Athletics.
Don't put your life on the line when you dig. Do what the pros do. Call Louisiana 811 before you dig. It's a free public service and it's the law. Louisiana 811.
Patient Plus Urgent Care brings you the Purple and Gold 20, the podcast dedicated to all things LSU sports and hosted by Matt Musso. Find it at 1045ESPN.com. And it's brought to you by Patient Plus Urgent Care. Get in, get better at Patient Plus Urgent Care.
A new season is the perfect time to change up your look. And luckily, 21 Days of Beauty is happening now at Ulta Beauty. Snag daily beauty steals of 50% off the must-haves from brands like IT Cosmetics and Benefit. And discover new gotta-have-it launches from brands like Jacqueline Cosmetics and Tula. Experience the thrill of finding new faves during beauty's biggest event. But hurry, this event ends September 18th. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
This is the Coach O press conference.
Wrapping things up on this Tuesday, we thank you for joining us for the Coach O press conference presented by McDonald's. A reminder, this coming Saturday, home opener at legendary Tiger Stadium. LSU hosting McNeese State. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. If you want to catch it, you'll have to find it on SEC Network Plus or ESPN Plus if you do not have SEC Network as part of your cable subscription. So again, SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. We'll get things started on the radio here at LSU coming up at 5 o'clock. LSU Game Day with Hunt Palmer, Garrett Brumfield, and Marlon Favorite. And then Doug Morrow, Gordy Rush will join me in the booth as we bring you the play-by-play coverage of LSU and McNeese State, again with kickoff just after 7 o'clock. Thanks to Gordy Rush. Thanks to you for stopping by. And until next Monday, this is Chris Blair saying so long, everybody, and go Tigers.
This has been the Coach O press conference. For the very latest, follow LSU football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or log on to lsusports.net. The LSU Sports Radio Network, a division of LSU SP and Playfly Sports.
If you live and work in the Baton Rouge area, you know pollutants and germs run rampant in the air. Introducing BioPure. BioPure is changing the standard of clean air through hospital-grade disinfectant that is EPA registered and kills up to 99.9% of germs and bacteria on hard surfaces. It's more important than ever to keep our surroundings clean. BioPure provides fast, affordable, and effective treatment to kill germs in classrooms, playrooms, gyms, offices, buses, and your home. For a free consultation, call today at 306-3035.
Angie's List is now Angie. Whether you need help with routine maintenance or you're planning your dream renovation, Angie connects you with top local pros who can get the job done right. See reviews, compare quotes, and book hundreds of projects. Plus, when you book and pay through Angie, we'll cover your project up to the full purchase price, plus limited damage protection with our Happiness Guarantee. Check out Angie.com, and for more on the Happiness Guarantee, go to Angie.com/happiness-guarantee.htm.
For more than 25 years, Louisiana residents have trusted the experts at WCK Foundation Repair. But did you know they can also solve drainage issues? Over time, as leaves and grass clippings build around a pier and beam home, water begins to collect under the home, leading to significant issues if not resolved. Recommended by local engineers, WCK provides the preferred solution for homeowners in South Louisiana. Call WCK today for a free estimate or online, WCKFoundationRepair.com.
Hurricane Ida has caused damage to roofs all over South Louisiana. There are already roofing companies from out of state setting up shop. In the past, when this happens, customers are often left with a leaky roof afterwards and unable to contact the company responsible after they leave town. Get it done right the first time by a company that has had the same phone number since 1992. Our call center is very busy and your time is valuable. To skip the lines, visit GarciaDidMyRoof.com and request a callback. Do business with someone that has served our area for 30 years.
104.5 WNXX Jackson, 104.9 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill back with you for another hour. Stepped aside there for the Ed Orgeron press conference. We'll be reacting to that here. Talk a little bit about what we saw last night between the Rebels and Cardinals. In the next segment, Luke Johnson at 1:30 talking Saints. He's on the way to Dallas to catch up with the Saints, see what their week plans are. There's a storm headed towards Jacksonville, which is not great news, but hopefully Saints hit the gridiron this Sunday to open the season against the Green Bay Packers. Jeremy Hill with me here. All right, Jeremy, get Orgeron to the microphone. I'll just kind of start with some of the headlines, and then we'll get into it. First thing you led off with, no Austin Deculus, no Cam Wire, no John Trey Kirkland, no Ali Gay, no Sony Fanua for the game on Saturday. That's one bullet point that we want to get to. He talked about the running game, which I want to get your thoughts on. Jared Small, as we predicted, out for the year. He will not return. That's a tough bite for him. We'll talk about that. Talked about Jay Ward. Wasn't sure about him. Couldn't afford to put Corey Kiner in the game. A little bit of that as well. But your overall thoughts on the press conference?
Yeah, I thought it would go pretty much like that. A lot of questions about him and his son, which is a great opportunity for them as a family. That rarely happens in college football, so I'm sure they're excited about that. But, yeah, a bunch of cliches. He actually gave up a lot more information than I thought, especially about the run game and things of that nature. So, but when you're playing McNeese, it probably doesn't matter that much.
No, it doesn't. But I think one of the things that we talked about in our brief first segment was this is an opportunity to get yourself out there and work on yourself for this game against McNeese, because you can do whatever you want and you're still going to walk over this game and get a victory. It's all about you. And the fact that your two tackles aren't going to play is bitterly disappointing. And it was such a sore point for this team. And now you're going to go out there with a makeshift offensive line that can't work on continuity, can't get reps together. It just, to me, that's just grossly disappointing that you're going to be missing your two tackles in this game.
Yeah, I mean, if there was one game to miss them, it'd probably be this game. You don't want to be rolling in the SEC play, missing both of your tackles, but it will give a opportunity for the younger guys to get some reps out there, something that they didn't get to do last week much. And so we'll see what the young guys have to do. We'll see what Dellinger has to do and some of these younger offensive linemen that we have, and it's going to be a great opportunity for them to play well and get some confidence.
I just kind of disagree. Like, I don't need Dellinger and Charles Turner playing tackle. That doesn't help this football team. Like, they need Cam Wire and Austin Deculus out there. Now, Deculus has been playing this position for 20 years at LSU. So, but, does he need Chase and Hines? Do they need to get some reps out there? Like, I don't think it would hurt. And then at left tackle, Cam Wire has not been a full-time starter, and he's your left tackle, and you need him, and he's not going to be out there, and you're probably going to have Charles Turner playing. And if you trot Charles Turner out there at left tackle against Auburn and Florida and A&M, not to mention Alabama, That's just a massive disadvantage. That's a guy that you brought in to be he was a backup center like 3 weeks ago, and now you're starting left tackle. It's an issue for me. It's an issue.
Yeah, I'm not downplaying that. It's a huge issue. You want to have both of your tackles. You lose Rosenthal, like Coach O said. That's something that someone they were counting on heavily, and that's a big left tackle position. We know how important that position is in football, so I'm not downplaying that. But it does present an opportunity for guys you didn't think would come out there and see what they have to offer. Who knows? They may, come into their primes and really become good players. We'll see, but they'll have the opportunity starting this Saturday.
And he was asked, are these unavailable players, is anyone suspended? He said, no, they're unavailable. And then they followed up and said, can you, pick your spots on suspensions? And he said, yes, we can do that. And the fact of the matter is that, some of these guys may be hurt. There are academics involved. There are probably some suspensions, as your former coach would say, people being withheld from play. But look, Ed Orgeron has done in the past. He did it in 2019. Sadiq Charles was suspended for half the season. He missed the crappy non-conference games. He didn't play against Mississippi State. And when they played Alabama and when they played Texas and when they played Texas A&M, he was out there because that's the way they wanted to handle the suspension. It certainly wouldn't surprise me if there was some of that going on here. It's not really relevant. It doesn't matter. It's the McNeese game. Moving on from that spot there, the running game was an interesting portion of that press conference, and I have been very upfront with saying most press conferences are not that interesting, especially ones before football games. And this one certainly wasn't. The running game was interesting, and this is a quote he gave, and I need you here because this is your world. They asked about UCLA being able to take away LSU's running game. And Ed Orgeron said, if you only have one or two runs, they're going to stack the box. And that made me scratch my head and go, why do you only have one or two runs? And then he answered the question. He said, we started preseason and came up with our 5 best runs. And for those 5 runs, we run them out of different formations with different shifts, and we disguise them, but there are 5 core runs, and you sprinkle other things around them. And then the game plan, these are his words, got dwindled down because of the amount of blitzing they were doing, which if you have 5 core runs and it gets dwindled down, that's how you get to 1 or 2. You're the running back. Tell me what I'm reading in here.
Yeah, like I said, I said that when we started yesterday that we were trying to outsmart them instead of just running our stuff, and that's exactly what Coach O said. They weren't running their stuff, and that's just simply he answered it. And I mean, you respect what they're doing out there, but I think, like he said, you find your 5 best runs and you run them no matter what. And if they stop them, then they stop them. But I think you're kind of giving them a little too much credit out there, and you really limited yourself as an offense. And you saw that in the run game. There was nothing there. And I think if you were to run some other stuff, maybe you have an opportunity to pop one. But when you're running 2 plays and they know you're running those 2 plays, and then you get forced into pass situations when you go down by double digits, it's a recipe for a disaster, and that's what it was.
What were they running? Can you identify that it's a simple run game?
Yeah. They were just running inside zone and duo press, which is you try to double team where you can get double teams at. If there's 5 guys down on the line of scrimmage, then you won't have any double teams, and then the linebackers can just kind of blow up the holes where they see fit. And that's the only 2 plays we were running. We kind of had some RPOs going in there a little bit. A couple of those got tipped, a couple of those got dropped, and so they kind of got away from those. And then we didn't run any read option or speed option stuff with Max. I think you saw him on that big 3rd down. He can use his legs when he needs to. We didn't do any of that. So hopefully we can start running more of this offense, really, getting our guys in space and using the backs in the passing game. That's something that really blew my mind that we really didn't do at all. So we got time to change this and get better, but it starts this week.
As far as personnel goes in the running back room, he said that they will not know about John Emery's status until Friday. To me, that does not sound like an injury. Sounds like it's academic in nature. We'll see if that gets straightened out. It seems like an odd point in the calendar for that, but I don't know exactly what the school schedule is. So we'll see about John Emery. Then they asked about Corey Kiner. He said Corey's ready to go. We just couldn't afford to get him in the game at that juncture. And they went with Josh Williams, obviously. That's where that changes this week. He's got to be out there and he's got to play.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought start the year off. Your offense isn't clicking like you want. You start the first half with 10 points. Probably not going to throw guys out there that you don't trust and that haven't been in this offense. And so that wasn't a shocker to me. So this is a prime opportunity this Saturday to get some of these younger guys in there, get their feet wet in the college game. I don't care who it's against. It's always a great opportunity to go out there and play in actual football games on Saturday. So that's going to be a good opportunity for some of these younger guys to go out there and step up, because I was definitely shocked that Corey Kiner didn't get any snaps.
Look, that's why there's value in these games. It's like a preseason game for an NFL team. You got the scrimmages, but this is like a preseason game because you're going to win it. Get those guys out there, get their feet wet, let them pass protect, see if they can get their feet on the ground, run the football, get a little bit of confidence. I like these games. I'm going to talk about that all week, but got to get Corey Kiner in the game, get the game going. Disappointed to hear that they're not sure about Jay Ward. And you caught him, Jay Ward, right after he was talking about Jared Small being out for the year, and then he said he wasn't sure about Jay Ward, and I went, oh my God, is he out for the whole year? And I don't know the answer to that, but he said not sure. He's questionable, and then he went on to say he's doubtful. I'll know more on Friday. Obviously, that injury is a little more significant than what it looked like as we were just kind of watching, and then all of a sudden he wasn't out there. But I do believe, and this could be proven wrong because he hasn't done it in the games, just I think he'll help if he can get out there and play the full 60 minutes. I think they missed him on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. You missed him, definitely. And I think those are our biggest concerns heading to the season. Would the safety play improve from last year, and will the linebacker play improve? And you got to have safeties in that defense. You're going to be matched up man-to-man a lot on tight ends, and they're going to be trying to run play action stuff. And if you got a safety who can cover that, it's going to make it so tough for an offense. And we saw Jay Ward all throughout camp. We saw him making big pick sixes last year. We could have used him in that game, and we're going to need him this season. So some of these younger safeties are going to have to step up because the safety play was not up to par.
Yeah, Jordan Tolles was in there when Dolchich made a big third down catch to convert, and they scored a touchdown the next play after that. Tolles is a really good athlete. I mean, he almost played college basketball at LSU and football. He's a really good athlete, but I think Ward gives him their best option there. They really could really use him back. So that's, as I run through my notes here, got that one. So that's essentially the highlights from the press conference outside of a lot of questions he got about his son, Cody. And that storyline doesn't mean anything to anyone down here because LSU lost. If LSU would have gone and beaten UCLA 52-10, everyone would be eating up the fact that O's son was playing quarterback for the other team. There will be stories written about it. It's a cool thing for their family, but everyone's in such a cranky mood down here that no one wants to hear about it. I thought some of the anecdotes were funny that he brought up about how Cody's out of tickets as a road guy, so he's calling his dad to see if he can get some more tickets. I think that's a good guy to call. He might be able to get his hands on some more tickets. I thought it was interesting when he talked about Cody's been at practice, so he's seen all their games, he knows them. And they were talking about the best part of it was when he was saying, you've kind of created your entire career on motivating defensive linemen to inflict serious pain on quarterbacks. You going to do that this weekend? He's like, I might just tone my verbiage down a little bit, but we're coming after him. So it was humorous if you're willing to take it for what it is, which is just a nice little interesting storyline that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I think another cool point he said, there's no cutoff point. He's going to talk to his son up into the game, I think, which is a cool thing. He said it's his son no matter what, McNeese or LSU out of it, it's going to be his son forever. So I think that's a cool storyline. But like you said, when you lose to UCLA, just use it to its razzle a little bit. And so, but I think this is going to be another great opportunity for this team to go out there and really get the bad taste out of their mouth, like Coach O said. So hopefully we can do that.
Keaton Berrien in the Bayou Ford chat on YouTube says, what's Goodwin's status? I didn't hear an address about him, but it sounded like when he said it last week that he wasn't going to play, that this was not like a 1 week thing. I think that he's going to be down for a little bit in the same way that obviously Glenn Logan is down for a good bit as well. I don't expect that he'll be ready, but I don't know that. So that'll be as far as I speculate on that. Still a lot to get to here over the next 45 minutes. We'll come back and talk a little bit about what we saw last night on the field for Ole Miss and Louisville. And, of course, Luke Johnson with us at the bottom of the hour talking Saints. What's their plan moving forward the rest of the week as they hope to start their season on Sunday? That's next on Hunt and Hill.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm.
We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Coming up on a Tuesday edition of Early Line, Rafael Esparza of DocSports.com joins the show from Las Vegas, and we look ahead to Week 1 in the NFL, including Saints versus Packers. Join us, 2 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here in the open field, Hunt and Hill on a Tuesday, reacting to Ed Orgeron's press conference in the previous segment. Now we'll move things along to the end of college football's Week 1. Ole Miss 43, Louisville 24 over in Atlanta. Lane Kiffin watching and Skyping into ESPN, making derogatory comments about officials. We'll get to that a little bit later, but what did you think of the Rebs last night?
That offense looked impressive. That wasn't a shock. I think we all knew they'd have a high-powered offense, but I think Corral's really coming to his own with that RPO system. Just the way he uses his head movement and his eyes, and he holds that ball in there forever, seems like. Makes it tough on linebackers. He makes them make a decision, and if you make the wrong one, he's going to be hitting one of those receivers down the field. So I see Ole Miss scoring a lot of points this year.
I mean, I think Kiffin will get a lot of credit, as he should. He's a very, very good offensive coach, an excellent offensive coach. Corral is really good. He's athletic. He's got a cannon. He's accurate. He's decisive. You have to honor him on the RPO, like you said. He makes quick decisions. He was hitting receivers in stride, and they were averaging almost 20 yards a catch late in the second quarter, and they were running into tempo really, really quickly, and Louisville didn't have an answer for it. Now, Louisville's not any good. but they're still a Power 5 team, and Ole Miss just made them look pathetic for most of the game. I mean, Louisville scored 3 touchdowns in the last 9 minutes of the game to make the score look reasonably respectable. It was 36-10 in the fourth quarter after Snoop Connor ran over people and scored a touchdown. Louisville didn't score in the first half, so it was never close. Ole Miss's defense certainly showed a pulse, as I said. They shut them out in the first half. Yeah. They were moving around a little bit, making some tackles. What'd you think of the Rebel defense?
I think they came in there with a great game plan, and I think that's where coaching, you got to tip your cap to the coaching staff. The quarterback for Louisville, Malik Cunningham, they had a great job spying him the whole night. They only rushed 3. They spied him the whole night, and that's the type of game planning that you love to see. When a team, their quarterback likes to do something and you just go and take it away. That's why that defense played so well the first half. They forced them to make throws down the field, and you just couldn't do it on a consistent basis. And so if Ole Miss can string this together and they can keep people under 28, they're going to probably win a lot of football games.
They keep a lot of people under 28. They will win a lot of football games. Now, I also think Louisville's offense is bad. I thought the play calling was terrible, and I try not to criticize play calling because that's not something that I do very much, but I'm well aware that continuing to run the football on 2nd and long is not a recipe for much success. They ran a QB sweep on 3rd and 11. Scott Satterfield did not trust Malik Cunningham to throw the ball at all. He's basically a running back there. He was 22 of 37 for 191. Most of that was late. They were just trying to run the ball. Ole Miss knew it. Ole Miss stacked the box, and Louisville had no other answer for it. It was, I really think Louisville's in for a rough go. So while I thought Ole Miss's defense certainly was improved from last year, I didn't necessarily think that it looked like the 85 Bears out there. I think they were facing a team that was significantly limited in what they could do. But overall, Ole Miss with a convincing win on national TV and a pretty good opening weekend outside of Baton Rouge for the SEC. The league looks strong, in my opinion. You look at Ole Miss trouncing Louisville, Alabama did their thing, Georgia gets a huge win. I thought it was pretty good for the league overall.
Yeah, and A&M looks like they're going to be good too. Maybe I was a little too down on them, and it's going to be a tough SEC West. I think the SEC West is going to be a lot of teams beating up on each other. I think Auburn's going to come and try to run the ball down people's throat. You're going to have a little bit taken out of you when you play them, and then Ole Miss is going to run that tempo on your defense. They're going to be tired after playing that game, probably playing 90 snaps in that game. So, yeah, the SEC West is going to be a lot better than we thought.
So sometimes I live in the world of my Twitter universe when watching games, and I don't know how much of our listenership is in that vacuum with me. If you are, this is old news. If you're not, it's a worthwhile discussion, so we'll throw it out there. The targeting thing, it has to change. And in my little Twitter world, where I call Twitter the world's largest sports bar, because that's kind of what everybody's watching the same thing, talking about the same stuff, and conversing about it via Twitter. No one likes this rule. Yeah. 4 players got ejected in the first half.
Yeah.
You talk about go through 5 weeks of camp and practice, not to mention the summer and lifting weights and getting up early in spring ball, and then you get out there on the Monday night Labor Day game against a Power 5 opponent, and you come out there and you make a tackle, and they tell you got to go put your helmet on the bench and stand there the rest of the game. And everyone feels this way, so it's not like I'm coming up with this new, hot take that we got to change the rule. When's the rule going to get changed?
Yeah. I think the simple fix is either doing one of two things. I think one, just adopt the NFL's rules and you just get your 15-yard penalty, or adopt what the NBA has and have different levels, flagrant 1, flagrant 2. The first one on the Ole Miss linebacker, that was just a wrap-up tackle, and they threw him out of the game for that. To me, that should fall into that flagrant 1 category. Give him the 15 yards and let him keep playing. You should never get thrown out of a game for making a form wrap-up tackle. That just was insane to me. It's like you there's nothing you can do. And I'm an offensive guy, and I'm cheering for the offenses, but as a defender, there's nothing you can do in those situations. So there's something they definitely need to do about that.
It's every time they show a replay for targeting, the commentator uses the phrase "led with the helmet" or "led with the crown of the helmet." Now, the crown is obviously worse. I understand we're trying to get guys to keep their eyes up. But the fact of the matter is that you're trying to win leverage. You're trying to get lower than the other guy. And, oh, by the way, you can't lead with anything but your head to tackle someone. Yeah. You can't lead with your knee to tackle someone. You can't lead with your hips. You have to lean forward. Again, I realize I'm not breaking any news here, but you have to lead with your head. That's how you move and win with leverage. And people are ducking their heads. Ball carriers are. They're moving so fast. It's just a luck. You are throwing people out of the game based on bad luck.
Yeah.
And I was convinced when Devin White got ejected from the Mississippi State game that was leading up to Alabama, and he was going to have to miss the first half of the Alabama game back in 2018, I was convinced that would be it. You have a high-profile player who ended up winning the Butkus Award in one of the biggest marquee games of the season, LSU against Alabama in Tiger Stadium, and you threw him out. That's going to get attention. And certainly I understand that there's a possibility that there somewhere in a room people are saying there's lawsuits, there's dollars, the future of football is on the line. I know this is stupid, but we have to do it so the attorneys don't get a hold of us. We have to prove that we're trying to make a point. But you're taking opportunities away from these players based on luck. It has to change. It has to change.
Yeah, they got to fix it. I think it started with the defenseless receiver thing, and now it's just to everything. Ball carriers, people running with the football, quarterbacks, it doesn't even matter. Like, if you tackle someone anywhere around their head and your helmet's just touched, you're getting thrown out of the game. And I think it's one of those rules are the rules things, which I think is terrible for football because things happen. Things are moving fast, like you said, and I mean, you got to throw a guy out of the game. They fought all week. They practiced all week. They prepared for the game. They worked all summer just to get thrown out for playing hard and playing the right way. I just think there's something they have to do about it. But honestly, I don't think it's changing anytime soon.
You want to throw guys out of the game? You want to suspend guys for 3 games. If there's an interception down the sideline, the entire flow of the play changes. The quarterback's running towards the sideline looking at the ball, and a 6'6", 250-pound defensive end leaves his feet and spears him in the chin. We can do that. Like, I'm perfectly okay with that. You want to take away safeties flying over the middle and hitting defenseless receivers? Fine. We can suspend guys for that. We have got to stop throwing guys out of the football game because there's a draw play and the linebacker meets the running back in the hole and his helmet touches the guy's face mask. Like, we can't – the sport ceases to exist if we do that. And it's funny because – not funny, but it's – everyone agrees that I see. I don't see one person coming on going, no, we got it. This is right. We got to keep this up. Not one.
Yeah. It's just, to me, it slows the game down for one. I think that just take what the NFL does. Throw the 15-yard penalty and keep the game moving. I think I text you, what's the over-under on these targeting reviews? I think they were like 5.
They were at 5 at halftime. What does that say?
It's like, what are we doing? Like, it's football. Like, contact is going to happen. There's going to be plays. There's going to be people getting blown up. That's why people love the sport of football. If they wanted to watch something else, they watch basketball or people run track. But you watch football, you want to see a little bit of that. People want to see the violence. So I'm in camp with you. We got to do something about this targeting review.
Whatever. All right, let's take a timeout. Luke Johnson on the other side of it, Hunting Hill.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Introducing Vizzy Lemonade, the only lemonade hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. All new Vizzy Lemonade. Step up your seltzer game.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in...
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Ed Orgeron meets with the media to preview the McNeese game and the latest from Saints practice as they get ready for the opener. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Time now to shift our focus to the black and gold. Luke Johnson covers the New Orleans Saints, and he's on the way to Dallas, Texas right now to meet up with them. Luke, how we doing?
I'm doing good. I'm somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas, but I'm making progress, man. I should be there soon and actually get to see some people in person for the first time in a while and feel a little bit like normal has returned.
Arkansas is not a great drive. No great interstates in the beautiful state of Arkansas. A lot of 2 lanes.
Yeah. In fact, I'm on one right now in between like 3 or 4 semis. So we'll try not to get in an accident in the middle of this. But it might be great for ratings. So I don't know.
We'll see
how good of a friend I am.
All right. So what have the Saints been doing since the storm came last weekend?
Well, I think they were pretty smart in getting out of town as fast as possible. So for anybody who hasn't really been following up on this, I would recommend reading my colleague Amy Jo's story just about the entire process of getting out of town. But they got 2 planes out on Saturday before the storm made landfall on Sunday. One with the players, one with the family, and they've been out in Dallas ever since. They just started, I believe yesterday was their first practice at TCU, but they've been between AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play and now at TCU, just trying to do their best to prepare for week 1. It's not an ideal scenario, but I think they're in pretty good shape right now and just trying to have as something as close to normal as you can. And thankfully, or not thankfully, but at least with this team, they've been through stuff like this before. Certainly, Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis have. They know how to get their staff prepared for this sort of stuff. And even a couple of years ago, it wasn't a hurricane, but they were in Seattle for a whole week before they played the Seahawks. and they were doing that under some adverse conditions with Drew Brees being hurt. So they've managed this sort of situation before. They know what they're doing. I think they'll be ready to go once Week 1 comes up in Jacksonville, of all places.
Yeah, so apparently there may be a storm headed towards Jacksonville. Has that crossed your radar? Is there any sort of contingency for that?
Yeah, it's crossed my radar. I think at this point they're just kind of hoping it's not bad. As far as I'm concerned, I'm flying to Jacksonville. I'm anticipating the game's going to happen on Sunday as planned, but it would be absolutely what you expect in this last year and a half that we've all endured, just for just one horrific thing to happen after another. So we'll keep a close eye on it.
How do you think the team is going to respond to all the moving around and changing locations? Because we know last week the Louisiana college football teams did not fare well at all.
Yeah, I think it's not going to help them for sure. I think just having been through this situation before with a lot of these guys on staff, they know how to deal with it. Sean Payton, in particular, is a person who knows how to use crisis to his advantage. I think if anything, he's using this as a tool to get his team closer. They're all in one space instead of being everybody going back to their homes after practices and stuff. So it can use this if they play it right, and I think they probably will, just knowing the history. I think they can use this as a way to give it toward their advantage in a way, and to use this as a tool to get the team where they want it to be. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. Green Bay is a really, really good team, but I think if any team has to go through this thing where they're operating out of hotel rooms for 2 weeks, I think I'd put my money on the Saints to have it not be a distraction better than anybody else.
Let's go to the roster, and then we'll get into the Packers here. The 53 was announced last week. I guess I'll just leave it open. Did anything surprise you there?
Not really. I think this team is not as deep as teams in years past. I don't think there were as many difficult decisions on this team. I guess one sort of surprise. It's not exactly the initial 53, but they're keeping 4 quarterbacks now, right? They just signed Trevor Siemian yesterday, and that was kind of hinted as being a possibility when they released them on the initial 53. Yeah, I'm a little surprised at that. Even with Taysom Hill playing the role he does, where he's this all-purpose type of player, and he's at a much greater risk for injury than a normal backup quarterback. Still, and they have operate with 3 quarterbacks in that scenario, and just have 3 guys active on your game day roster. I thought Ian Book showed enough in training camp where you can be like, okay, well, Taysom gets hurt and Jameis gets hurt. We can comfortably rely on you. I thought that was. I thought he'd done enough, but they really liked Trevor Siemian, and having 4 quarterbacks on an active roster, you don't really see that a lot. But you can also have some flexibility with how you shape your roster now that you can bring 2 guys up from the practice squad on game day, and they're taking advantage of that. Yesterday they signed kicker Eldrick Rosas to their practice squad, and he's going to be their regular kicker, more than likely, unless something crazy happens in the next couple days. So it's essentially they're working with a 55-man roster instead of a 53, and that allows them a little flexibility to be like, okay, well, we want to carry 4 quarterbacks if we can.
What are your thoughts on the Desmond Trufant signing? Do you think he can help the secondary out this season?
Yeah, I think so. I think they needed another corner. They only kept 3 true corners on their 53-man roster, which it was a surprise in one respect because they're going to need more than 3 corners. But then you look at their roster and the way it's shaped, and they consider P.J. Williams a safety, but he's played a ton of corner for him in the past. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is listed as a safety, but really he's a nickel corner. So really they had 5 guys that they could kind of feel like they could trust there at corner. But at the same time, our entire the entire picture we have of Paulson Adebo is essentially going up against Saints players, and then other teams' vanilla offensive attacks in preseason. So he's been impressive, but I don't know if you really want to just count on him to be that once the regular season starts. I think the same thing is true for Ken Crawley. So it made sense for them to go out and get a proven veteran cornerback, even if he's lost a step from back when he made the Pro Bowl with Atlanta a few years back. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to have on your team, especially the Saints still feel like they're going to be a competitive team. I don't think they just want to trust the young guys to go out there and play and make mistakes. If they make mistakes, I think they need to have somebody there to step in.
All right, let's start talking Green Bay. I think you're probably a good person to talk to about the Packers. What chance does this new revamped kind of patchwork at times secondary have in week one?
I think it's hard to go into this matchup right now and have a ton of confidence. I think the Saints' top 4 secondary players are really good. Yeah, I don't think there's I don't think there's any reason you shouldn't have confidence in Marshawn Lattimore, Malcolm Jenkins, Marcus Williams, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But I think we've all seen through 15 years of Aaron Rodgers shredding secondaries that he's going to find a weak spot in that. And I think until Paulson Adebo or Ken Crawley or even Desmond Trufant prove they can do it on a week-in, week-out basis in a Saints uniform, I think it's going to be a concern. And I think even historically, you look back at these last couple of years, the Saints kind of typically get off to slower starts defensively until they figure some stuff out. Even last year when they had a very, very good pass defense, I think they only gave up one. Maybe they didn't even give up a single 300-yard pass game the entire year. Even then, they had some struggles in the first few weeks of the season. So, I'm probably going to be putting my chips on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense this first week, just based on that. And I'll be pleasantly surprised if the opposite is true.
How are you feeling about this Saints offense? How do you think Sean Payton's going to attack that Packers defense?
I think it's going to be really exciting. I don't think it's going to be like a completely different Saints offense that we've seen since Drew Brees has been running this thing for 15 years. But there's going to be different elements to it that we just haven't seen lately. I mean, let's just be honest about the huge differences between Jameis Winston's arm and Drew Brees' arm. And we saw that in the last preseason game when Winston had 2 just beautiful, beautiful touchdown passes to Marquez Callaway. Both of them, downfield throws, single coverage. He has to put the ball in a tight spot, and he did. I think that's the sort of stuff we can expect to see out of him this year. Is kind of getting back to that vertical offense we just haven't seen in a long time. I think we're going to see a lot more play action. What I'm really interested to see is how, if at all, this affects the Saints' ground game, which has been very good in recent seasons. But we haven't seen Alvin Kamara in the preseason. I think we can count on what he's going to do, just knowing who he is as a player. But we haven't seen Latavius Murray do much of anything. I think having Drew Brees as the kind of supercomputer back there has helped them out in the running offense. So I think that's going to be the big area of concern or just area where I'm really intrigued to see how it plays out. But I think it has a chance to be really exciting and different in that way than it has been in recent years, where it's been more based off of efficiency and getting the ball to the right spot and putting together those 12, 13, 14 play drives downfield.
Luke Johnson with us here. One more, Luke. Your time very much appreciated as you head on to Dallas, Texas. You've been on this beat a couple years now. You've seen Jameis from the time they signed him, the time he's been named a starting quarterback to now. I've been critical of his maturity level, of his ability to motivate. I just kind of think he's been real goofy in his younger years. Have you noticed a growth, a maturation, and how do the players seem to respond to him as he enters his week 1 starting role?
Well, I'll take the last part of that first. I think the team really likes Jameis. I think they rally behind him. I think his personality fits the personality of the locker room. So I don't think there's any problem with that at all. And as far as Jameis personally, I think there was an element of being humbled by even coming to New Orleans. You know, when he entered free agency that year, I was just listening to something today. He said there was only a few teams that even had mild interest in him, and most of them kind of wanted to wait and see after the draft. Things shook out, and the Saints were really the only one who was like, we don't have much to offer you, but we want you here. So I think by having that happen to him, and then by going through the entire year where he's just sitting back, taking things in, and he's not just getting things handed to him. He's not the guy. He's just one of 53 on the team. I think that helped him. I honestly, I didn't cover Jameis before. I knew of him obviously from covering the team and covering the teams he played against. But the guy who has been here on a day in, day out basis these last 16 months or so, I think has been pretty impressive. And we'll see if that maintains. If the team struggles, if he struggles, I think it's worth watching. But for the time being, I think he's been impressive. I think he's ready to lead the team, and he's ready to take this second chance that he's been given and run with it.
Luke, we appreciate it, man. Be safe, and hopefully you can get on to Jacksonville and we can watch some football on Sunday.
God, please. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, guys. And, thanks for having me on, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Luke. Luke Johnson for the New Orleans Advocate, NOLA.com. Does an awesome job covering the Saints. And a Revley alum with myself, covering back on the LSU paper. Let's take one final break, come back and close it out. Hunt and Hill.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Holy Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
On Wednesdays off the bench, we turn the page, start to look forward to a little LSU McNeese and the big one in Jacksonville, the Saints versus the Packers. And we have a brand new Would You Rather Wednesday. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Closing up shop, I want to remind you I'll be at Pluckers tonight for sports trivia, 8:30 on the Nicholson location. About 8:30 to about 9:45, hour 15 minutes. Live action trivia. We'll have 5 rounds. You can win Pluckers gift cards, drink some cold beers, watch some sports on TV, eat some wings. It's a wonderful time. Come on out, get a team. Come to the bar at Pluckers at 8:30 tonight. I will be there. Jeremy and I, of course, tomorrow night, 8 to 10 on the Tiger Zone. We'll have the phone lines open, ready to hear from you. Mark your calendars for that. See you tomorrow from 8 to 10. We'll finish things up here, as we always do, with Take It or Leave It. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.com predicts Jameis Winston is a surprise star in his season as a starter for the Saints. Take it or leave in Jameis, breakout year.
This is a tough one, but I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I like what I saw from Jameis. I like the downfield passing attack. I think he's going to have a run game and the best offensive line he's had. If he can cut those turnovers down, I think he can definitely break out this season.
We're going to talk a little more NFL tomorrow. I think he'll just be fine. I don't think he's going to have a huge year. I don't think he's going to be a disaster. I think he's just going to be fine. There are going to be a couple of Sundays where he goes out there and turns it over 3 times and you lose the game. There are going to be a couple of days where he lights it up and makes some throws that not very many can make, and that's why he's the first pick in the draft. It's not the hottest radio take you've ever heard. I think he's just going to be fine.
I got you. All right. Europe won the Solheim Cup 15-14. Take or leave the Solheim Cup as a viewing experience?
I'll take it. I really like this, and this is going to play to approximately 0.4% of our audience. But the Solheim Cup was really fun to watch this past weekend. I watched the end of it. Europe beat us. It's the Women's Ryder Cup. It's women's Europe versus USA, and the interesting local twist, 2 LSU golfers, one on the American team, Austin Ernst, who won the national championship, was on Team USA, and then Madeline Sagstrom, who is an LSU golfer, is from Sweden, played for Team Europe. So I enjoyed watching them. I knew of them when they were in Baton Rouge. And we see Sam Burns coming up and winning golf tournaments and playing really well. He's in the mix for the Ryder Cup team. What U Club has turned into, even though it's too hard for me to go out there and play, has really been a boon for LSU talent-wise in golf, and they've redone the course. It's attractive to people, and they've gotten really good teams to come on to Solheim. Come on to the golf teams, and they're starting to really make waves as professionals. So I thought it was cool.
I got you. I got one more for you. All right. Ole Miss Rebels shut out the Louisville Cardinals in the first half. Are you taking or leaving the Rebels will have a top 7 SEC defense this year?
Oh, I don't know if I've seen quite enough to get him in the top half of the league yet. I'm going to leave that. It's possible, but I think it's unlikely. I really thought Louisville was limited in how they could move the ball. Their quarterback did not show he was a threat to throw it. They were running it far too much. Ole Miss was flying downhill. They played well last night, but I'm not going to take them as a top half of the SEC defense just yet. Gotcha. Matt Corral threw for 382 on just 22 completions against Louisville. Taking or leaving him as a Heisman finalist.
Oh, man, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
I know when Lane gets back, they're just going to be having the time of their life running plays on offense, and Matt's going to be a big part of that. And just him in that RPO game and the receivers he has, I know they're going to fill that score sheet up and fill the box score up. So I would not be shocked at all if he's in the Heisman race at the end of the year.
It's possible. He's really good. I said that earlier in this hour when we were talking about it. It's not just Kiffin. It's not just Corral, but the combination of both of them is really exceptional. And they, on those RPOs last night, were just creating some throwing lanes with some guys running vertically that Louisville just was nowhere near. And it was an impressive performance by them. And again, I thought an impressive weekend for the SEC. You take out LSU laying an egg, which is tough for us to do down here. The league looked pretty salty, and what that means when you lay an egg and don't look good and the rest of the league turns around and looks really good, it's tough to feel great about yourself. But LSU's got a couple of weeks to kick it into gear and figure something out, so we'll see. Again, what was your biggest takeaway from O today?
Yeah, he was I didn't really think he'd said anything that was too shocking other than just giving away our run game plan, but I think this is, like you said, a great opportunity to get the taste out of the team's mouth and really start getting some of these younger guys a position to play. Obviously, you'd love to have your offensive line out there, but it's going to give some of these young guys to know the offense and get this protection stuff down pat and get this thing rolling in the right direction.
Just super disappointing that Deculus and Wire will not play this weekend. It's a throwaway game in most people's eyes, but I really think there was some value in that offensive line getting out there and getting some more reps, and they certainly won't get to with their 2 tackles out. So that'll do us for us on a Tuesday. This will generally be our Monday schedule. We'll come in for a segment. We'll toss it to the LSU Sports Radio Network, pick up Ed Orgeron via Zoom, and then come back and react in the second hour. So we got through that today on a Tuesday thanks to Labor Day. So if you missed anything we did, it's all on demand, 1045ESPN.com. You can find that there, the YouTube channel as well. Bayou Ford Chat, always buzzing. We'll be back tomorrow, talking a lot of NFL. I want to really get ready for Saints and Packers as people want to turn the page to that. And storylines abound, but for LSU and McNeese. Matt will drive you home 3 to 6. Jimmy Ott's Game Time from 6 to 8. Next, Musso and Mario, they have got your early line. That is on 1045